with Hashem's help, we will be completing the first chapter of Kitzur today. It's Hashem. That means we'll do 2 sifim, 2 paragraphs. I hope it's going to work out. We're going to try. So we're up to Vav. So the Kitzur tells us that if you read Psalms, read Tehillim, or other parts of Torah, or the Navi, or Ksuvim, or some part of Tanakh, the Bible, wherever it may be, that people usually don't know by heart. Now, let's say you know them by heart. You have a person who's about Koreh, he reads every week in the shul or something, he knows the whole Torah by heart. He still shouldn't read by heart. Doesn't matter if you know it. So because you're not supposed to say things that are written Torah is not supposed to be said by heart. Things that everybody knows, that's okay. But otherwise, it's not so great. He says, a person who's blind, he can't read, obviously, he'll say by heart. You don't not say. That's the bottom. That's what the Kitzur says. The Mishnah points out a few things. First of all, it brings the shiur, the poskim bring. They say Tehillim, Psalms, many are lenient to say that's prayer. That's not. You're not saying it because of it's a part of the Tanakh. You're saying it because you're connecting to Hashem. Prayer is a different story. Prayers are okay. Written Torah, one shouldn't say by heart. We'll see a little bit why. Rav Nosson in Likutei Halachos, as usual, he gives us this incredible insight, which is just unbelievable. But so we'll see in a minute. On a simple level, the Ritva says, although we learn from the verse, he says, listen, when you write things down, they're written in a particular way. The words are exact, everything's precise. When you say by heart, you can kind of get confused about what's the content, what's going on. So he said, when it's written, you don't say by heart, and Torah that's by heart. It's better not to even. It's better if you know by heart. That's the better way. That's the oral Torah. Fine. So that's the Ritva and the Ran. I think the Rishonim. That's how they explain. Okay. So Rav Nosson in the Likutei Halachos, he does an amazing, his usual incredible thing. He says, when you're writing down Torah, written Torah, we write on parchment, right? That's what we write on. We write on parchment. That's when one writes down what, in Torah schools, whatever, Navi, whatever it may be, we write on parchment. He said that's because the idea of the written Torah, what that's supposed to do, that is supposed to influence the animalistic tendencies of a person. Because every person, we have our, animal skin, as it were, and we have to try to pick it up. So he said, if you write it down, so it's exactly the way it's supposed to be. This has the power to change the bad to good if you understand what's being said, what it's telling you. You can't just, our sages tell us, someone who only learns Tanakh. I actually met someone like this. He said, I'm just going to learn, he was learning Rosh Sameach years ago. He said, I learn every month, I just read the whole Bible, that's it. So I was like, that's very good. And if that's all you can do, then great. But you should know that you want to understand what the Bible's saying without learning what the commentaries say and learning what our sages say. So he said, why is that? So I said, well, it's very simple, because the Bible, there are a few ways of understanding it. The way the Leshem says, he says, the Bible is it's made so that people can, it's almost made to be misunderstood. It does not stand alone at all. It's impossible, if you read the Bible and say, okay, I'm just going to follow these instructions, you will not have a chance. On a lot of the mitzvahs, you're just like, what is it talking about? How do you do this? How do you do this? You have no idea. You simply do not know. There actually was a person he wrote a whole book about it. He decided for a year to keep the Bible, and he had to come up with his own commentary, because he's like, it's just not clear. It's unclear. You build a sukkah booth. I mean, what is that? What is that? How do you do that? What is it? There's no instructions. It's not clear. It's not clear. And it's meant to be not clear. It's open the way it's supposed to be open. It is what it's supposed to be. And it's really a document that has mostly to do with the ultimate future. That's the truth. If we hadn't fallen down, if we'd been able to be in a place where we overcame the angel of death, it was a time. At Sinai, the Zohar goes with this opinion. There's a argument in the Gemara, what happened at Sinai? Were we just free people? We're free now from any kind of incursions from negative influences, but we're regular human beings who are going to die, or did we overcome even the angel of death before Adam sinned? So the Zohar says there are two opinions. The Gemara, the Zohar says there was no more angel of death. It's over. That's the end. So according to that, that's what this document, the Torah, is for. That level. We're on a level when you see these words and you're just so connected, you understand everything. Okay, if you're on that level, wonderful. But most of us, we're not nearly on that level. So he said, because it's meant to hide, it hides the ultimate light of the future. So if you just read it, it's going to hide things that are essential to you. That's its nature. He says the same thing with nature also. Hashem made nature. When people, he said, people study nature. If you study nature and you focus on God making this wonderful place, you're like, wow, look at this world. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. What happened? The detail of them. We just can't understand. We're just blown away. But you meet people who, I don't know, the people who are very involved in nature, maybe, I guess, environmental studies type of people, or doctors who are just studying. And you don't find them to be more spiritually sensitive than anybody else. And it's very strange. You shouldn't assume that the person will be, you're in nature all the time. You should just be blown away. And somehow that doesn't happen. So the lesson says, well, of course not. He says the whole teva, nature, is a mask for God. So it's going to mask. If you focus always on the mask, it's going to be hidden from you, concealed, unless you are also focusing on where it comes from. So it's the same idea. So the written Torah, for it to do what it's supposed to do, it's supposed to influence the animal tendency of a person and pick him up and uplift him. So it's not so simple to get to that level, to get to that place. So he says, once you when you write this down, so that's when it's like you write it down on the parchment, it's able to influence it, and that's how it works. Now, alone, without it being in the way it's supposed to be, it can be mixed up. That's what the Midrash says. He says, yeah, there's an oral Torah. One reason why there's oral is because the non-Jewish nations were going to grab hold of the Bible, and they're not supposed to know the oral Torah. So it's hidden. What it really means is totally, completely hidden. They have no idea. They're clueless, and that's okay. You can keep on. You can do your best. You feel something deep in this book. Great. There is something deep. But you don't really understand the message so good because it's hidden. It's very hidden. So it needs to be, what's written should remain written. By heart is also. By heart is totally is a different. And this by heart, it cannot influence the animal tendencies in the same way. The written word, it's exactly the way it's supposed to be when there's a illumination from the times to come in the ultimate future. So then we're going to understand it exactly what it is. And even now, it's able to help us if we are holding, and if we listen to the shul, to the Torah reading. There are different times when a person's supposed to review it, he's supposed to deal with it, it's supposed to be tempered with and accessed through the words of our sages. That's why we read twice the Torah, and then one time the Targum, right? We read or Rashi on the parsha. We're supposed to do it because that enables us to connect the way we're supposed to connect to what's going on in this. What is it talking about? So he says, therefore, we don't really write. We want to connect each essence the way it's supposed to, how it's supposed to connect. When I have something that helps me pick up what I'm supposed to use it the way I'm supposed to use it. So when you write down the oral Torah, it becomes limited in a way that's not the way it should be. You don't understand what you're writing. You can write it down, and you don't really. It's never going to be enough. Rav Nosson says this in the letters. He said, when you talk to someone's very depressed, you're like, this person is suffering. And we all know depression. Listen, it's not real. Is it real? You're just as positive and good as everybody else. But for some reason, the person cannot grasp it. It's like, no, I'm different. I suffer. And trying to give over to them how to strengthen themselves. It's not like any sentence is going to do it. It's not going to say, well, this, Azamra, be happy. Because the person has negative thought patterns that can take them to the wrong place. Like the says, it's very hard. So Nosson says, you have to give it over. Rabbi Nachman really says, you have to give it over remez. You have to give it over in a way the person gets it. No matter what. It's okay no matter what. No matter what. It's all from Hashem, and everything is the way it's supposed to be. I don't understand. I don't know. But I just have to accept that emunah, no matter what. I have to appreciate every mitzvah, every good thing, no matter what. That's what we're here for. No matter what. I don't understand. I don't get it. But that's okay. This is one idea, one concept of what's written needs to be written, and that's its place. Oral is supposed to be oral, and you have to, even when we have the Sfarim, we have the book here, we read Kitzur, it's oral Torah. We had to write it down, just like a blind person has to learn by heart if it's the verses, because he cannot read. So he needs to learn. He cannot learn the Torah. So he's allowed to recite by heart if he knows it by heart. Same thing, we're the same way. As the time progressed, we became blind. So oral, we were going to lose the oral. Oral was supposed to be to connect to the essence. It's not enough to just know. The teacher, the person was supposed to figure out who's really holding and who's not really holding it. You can know all the books you want. As one person says, you can have all the lists memorized. This is permitted, prohibited, this is that. You know it all. But it's not enough. It doesn't help. You have to connect to the essence. You have to connect to the giver of the Torah. Like the Shlah says, in Chabad, they make a very big thing of this concept, and I always say it. It's from really the Shlah Kadosh many long years before Hasidus started even. And the Baal Tanya doesn't make it, that he says it's from earlier places. He says, you can't just focus on Torah. You have to focus on the giver of the Torah. Where's the Nosson of Torah? What about the one who gave the Torah? You read the Torah and you're all about me. That's not what it's about. It's about connecting to Hashem. You'll have to find the way how to do that. So that's one idea of why is it that what's written has to stay written and oral. Each one has their own function. And the oral Torah is, you have to realize, even if it's written, it's oral. I don't really understand. I'm reading, there's an essence here I'm supposed to connect to. The Baal Shem Tov said you have hidden in the Torah everything. You look at the Torah, you're supposed to see everything. The light Hashem created for the tzaddikim in the ultimate future, that's in the oral Torah. So when you open, someone came to him, he was with his brother-in-law. His brother-in-law didn't know what his deal was. I don't want to talk so much, there's incredible stories about it, but it has to be just now. But anyway, he would sit, he thought he was a simpleton, a pretty simple guy. I don't know, he had some interesting, he's very spiritual or something, but he wasn't, his brother-in-law was the scholar. So when he came, he said, I lost my donkey, very simple guy. Where's my donkey? So Baal Shem Tov was sitting there. Actually, he said, how am I supposed to know if you come to a rabbi, you have a question, but I have no idea where your donkey is. Baal Shem Tov, he opened the Gemara. You see your donkey is? And he told him where it is. So his brother was like, him again. Gosh, never finished with him. Eventually, he became one of the students. He figured who he was. But he went there, the donkey was there. He came back, thank you so much. His brother can't believe it. You look at the Gemara, and that's where the donkey is. How'd you do that? She said, it says, everything's here. You just have to connect to it's all you connect to God, and it's all there. You have to, so the oral Torah, it's not just reading, it's oral. It's not written, it's written. It's supposed to be written down. That's its exact form, and that's because it contains endless secrets, which you can't even understand. The angels wanted the Torah. What are the angels going to do with it? Someone asked the Ridbaz, I think, the Radbaz maybe, one of these earlier authorities. He's like, what are the angels going to do with the Torah? Don't kill. I mean, angel doesn't need to be told, don't kill. You can't kill above. You can also on a high. I mean, what does it mean? There's no eating, there's no drinking, no life and death in that way. Don't steal. Steal what? Steal from who? He said, you don't understand. The whole written Torah is one name of God, like the Ramban writes. He said, on high, if it's theirs, there's a totally different feeling, connection, which they get. If it becomes ours, it's different. It's here. It's not really there. They wanted the deep levels of connection. We don't know what this book is. What's bringing about how, it says any verse. You can't skip any verse. You can't drop any verse. It's all eternal. It's all connected to Hashem. You can't just say, oh, the Torah, this verse is superfluous. He lived here, he went here, he was this. No, there's no, you can't, you don't get to just say, I do want this, I don't want this. You have to have, a person has to know every verse is integral. Every verse is part of the name of Hashem. Every single verse. Right, so that's the first tip that we did. That's a little bit about why what's by heart has to stay by heart. What's oral has to stay oral. What's written has to stay written. Okay, so let's do the next one. So the person we should protest those who during Kabbalah say, Baruch Atah Hashem Shomei Tefillah. You should say Baruch Atah Shomei Tefillah. No name of Hashem. What's with this brochah? It doesn't belong. Some do it this way, some do it that way. According to Mishabura, certainly one should not say the Baruch Atah Hashem in the Korbanos there. But I just want to talk, because we're here, I want to talk about what it means, a bracha levatala, just very quickly. What it means to say a blessing, say a bracha on something, and you didn't just say it, it wasn't proper, it wasn't appropriate. So what I wanted to say is, also the Shlah Kaddish, the beautiful the Shlah, it says, don't take God's name in vain, right? It's one of the 10 Commandments. He says, what's the language that's used there? Lo yisisa, no tisa, right? So that means literally to lift up. Don't lift up God's name in vain. So he said, when you say a bracha, so when you say the name of Hashem in a bracha, he said, an angel is supposed to come and bring that up. He said, if you say Baruch Atah Hashem, and you don't continue to say a proper bracha the way you should, he said, what happens is, the angel comes to pick it up, and then it's like for nothing. It's uplifted for nothing. You can't, that's why we say Baruch Hashem, we try to fix things when we make a mistake, because it's not, you're picking up. We don't understand what it means. This person is a bracha. He's going to the highest place. Maybe we'll be so to learn about it a little bit. It's incredible. It's like an amazing, wonderful thing. What every bracha is, where it's going. So we're basically done with the first chapter of Be'ez Hashem. I think that's about it. and two little pieces. And Be'ez Hashem, on the next session, we will do the second chapter. Be'ez Hashem.